Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty in the Wild. My name is Janae. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is pretty important. It's a bug out bag or survival pack, whatever you want to call it. So basically what I've done is I've unpacked everything I have in mind, and I'm going to go through it all with you guys and let you see what I have in mind. Everything of course can be adjusted for, the conditions you live in, personal preference on things. So this is just kind of an overview. This is my pack. I got this on Amazon several years ago before I went on a hiking trip. It has a ton of pockets. It can hold a lot of stuff. And it even has a pocket at the bottom for a little bit easier access. And it does have a waist strap, which I highly recommend getting a bag that has one of these because it's going to help distribute the weight off of your shoulders and onto your hip area, which is a lot stronger. It helps avoid strain on your back. One thing that I haven't got off my pack yet is just a whistle, which is important if you are lost and you can maybe signal for someone to find you. So that is that. I also keep a bandana on mine just because I like to put it around my neck area when I do have my pack on, because it tends to rub on my shoulders because I keep it really tight against my back, so it does kind of rub, and that kind of just protects my neck area. So the first thing we're going to talk about in your pack that is the most vital thing is actually going to be water. I do have a water bladder. This one holds 2 liters. It's really convenient because you can place the drinking nozzle right over your shoulder so that you have easy access and you can drink it as you're walking. You don't have to stop. Another choice would be a canteen. We actually have a couple of these for each person in our family that we can refill. Also, in mine I have a couple of bottles of water just in case I don't find a clean source of drinking water, or I can't stop for a while to boil my water or sanitize it in a proper manner. Another thing is, whenever I'm going to be going somewhere with my bug out bag, I'm probably going to be wearing my hiking boots. Hiking boots personally are waterproof, and they're like high top boots so that they kind of protect my ankles. They have a steel toe on them so that I don't bang my feet on rocks and stuff, which when I get tired of walking, I get lazy and I don't pick my feet up properly, and I have hurt my toes so many times in wearing regular tennis shoes with hiking. So then I also, since I'm wearing the boots, I brought tennis shoes as well, just as an alternative. I can switch up my footwear. Then I also have in this bag just like extra undergarments. I have it in a separate bag because in case my pack does happen to get wet, at least I will have dry socks and underwear to wear, because it is pretty miserable when you have wet feet. Then I also have like just some baby wipes, because you can use them to do a quick cleanup, like a spit shine type of shower. I also have a hammock, and this can be used for whenever you want to take a rest, or if you need to sleep outside. It's a pretty quick way. It's a lot easier than trying to set up a tent. It's a lot less to pack. So I have a hammock here, and I have separate straps to go around the tree. So then along the lines of the hammock, I have a blanket just in case it gets cold. I can cover up with that. Another thing that you may want to consider is getting a bug net that can go over your hammock. I personally don't have one yet, but if you live like in the southern areas where there's a lot of mosquitoes, you're gonna really want to probably get one of those. Save you a lot of bugs. Another thing I have is just extra clothing. Like I have several different types of things, so I can layer as the weather is appropriate. So I've got like a tank top, a t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, and a jacket. And I've got lightweight leggings, heavyweight leggings, and jeans. I also have a stocking hat and some gloves in case it's cold. And like I said, all this can be adapted to the conditions you live in, and you may also want to switch these things out as the seasons change. But I always do recommend bringing several different types of layers of clothing, because it might be 90 degrees in the day, but in the nighttime it could change drastically. So you always want to be prepared. I also keep hand warmers in my bag just because it's good for a quick warm up. You can put them in your shoes or in your gloves or even in your pocket, just to kind of keep you warm. Another thing that's really important is to have a way to make fire, because with a fire you're going to be able to heat your food, warm yourself, and also boil water if you need to for drinking. So I only have one lighter, I realized as I was unpacking this. I recommend that you have 3 ways to make a fire, such as maybe a long lighter, maybe a short lighter, pack of matches. If you're bringing matches, I do recommend that you put it in something to keep it waterproof, just in case it rains, you go through a creek, whatever. Also, fire starter is very helpful. It is very difficult in windy conditions, and if you're in an area you're unfamiliar with, it's very difficult to light a fire sometimes, especially if maybe the wood is wet because it's rained. But one of the things that I've used in the past are these little white tablets. I do not know what they are made of, but they ignite instantly when you put flame to it. So those are very handy to have on hand. You can also make your own fire starter. For instance, we've made ours with dryer lint and wax, and those work pretty well as well. So you've got a variety of options for that. Another thing that is important is to have a radio. Now, eventually I want to get one that is solar powered, but for right now, this one is what I have. It does take batteries, so I do have batteries here. You don't want to store your batteries in your items that require them, because after a period of time, they will start corroding in the item. So like your flashlights, all that kind of stuff, you want to keep the batteries out of. So that's why I have batteries out in its own container. So the radio is important to keep up to date on events. Say there's a hurricane or a tornado or something and you want to know what is going on in the world. TV may be out, but most likely they're going to put out some sort of an emergency alert on the radio. So always want to have that with you. And then I have in my pack also just a charger cord and a box in case I do find a place where I can use the power. I can charge my phone. Another thing that's important is to have some light. It's not only good for nighttime, but also you can signal other people to help find you. So I have a couple of different lights here. This one you can just like hang from your bag. And this one's more just like a regular flashlight. I also have a solar powered stake light. I also have glow sticks here. So you can kind of choose what works for you. Another thing that's important is to protect yourself from the elements and the bugs and the sun exposure and things like that. So I always recommend having bug spray and sunblock so that you aren't miserable. And then another thing we're going to talk about as far as sheltering is, along with the hammock, I also have a small tarp. That way, if it starts raining while I'm out, I can just pop this over my hammock and stay dry. There's also a ton of ways that you can use it for like sunshade and things like that. And then I also carry with me a towel. Now this one is like a ShamWow type of towel. It absorbs a lot and it dries very quickly. So that's important. You don't want to take a towel, for one thing, that's going to be heavy. This is really lightweight. And you also want something that's going to dry quickly, because you may not have hours in the sun to let your towel dry before you move on. And lastly, we're going to talk about food. It's one of the other most important things, of course. I have a couple of food packs in mind. I have a couple of different varieties. These are self-heating, and I did do a review of these in my first video. If you guys are interested, you can check that out. And then this one, this is actually freeze-dried food, and all you have to do is add water to this, and you can eat it right out of this pouch. And this has a really long shelf life as well. So another thing that is handy to have is some aluminum foil, because if you take your fishing pole with you and you can catch some fish or something like that, you can use the aluminum foil to cook it in, if you don't want to carry like a skillet or something like that. They do have very lightweight cooking ware for camping and hiking. However, it can be a little bit more pricey. So if you want to keep it simple, just bring some foil, and it has a lot of other uses too. So, and then I also have in here a few things, just in case. Like, I've got some extra Ziploc bags that if I want to keep something dry, I can stick it in there. I've also got a funnel so that I can use it to fill my canteen or whatever else I need to use it for. So I've got that here. I also have a little spork to eat with. One thing that I purchased that is a kind of an investment, but I think it's going to be totally worth it, is this sun kettle. So this can be used to boil water, either to prepare a meal or to drink, sanitize it for drinking, and it uses solar power. So what you do is take the lid off, you place your water inside, put the lid back on, then you open up these two sides, and these are the solar panels. You just are going to let this sit out in the sun. Depending on the time of year, it could take just a few minutes to maybe an hour. But if you are really needing like fresh water or something like that, this is really going to be invaluable, because you don't have to have a fire. Another thing you can do is you can put water in here and food. So if you caught a fish, you could put water in here with the fish, maybe some seasonings if you have that in your pack, and let it sit in the sun and it will cook it for you. So I have actually tried it. It works really well, and I'm really happy with this purchase. The only other thing that I forgot to talk about was my first aid kit. Everybody should have a first aid kit in their pack. I even suggest carrying a first aid kit in your car, because you never know what could happen. I was in a car accident one time, and I could have used a first aid kit, and at that time I did not have one. So it's something that you should really have in your home, in your car, with you available. So I think that pretty much covers everything. And like I said, you can tailor all of these things specific to your needs. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I really recommend everyone have a bag like this in their house. And it doesn't have to be this large or even this extreme. So it's always better to be prepared and know that you're ready and just have that peace of mind. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you guys will subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so that you'll know when I post new videos. If you guys have anything that you want me to talk about in my next video, let me know. Hit the like button and share it with your friends. I'll talk to you guys later. God bless.